back to None of Your Beeswax Apiary. Today we're going to show you how we check for mites and do a mite count. There's a couple different ways to do it. I like using the powdered sugar shake. You can also use an alcohol wash. I think the powdered sugar shake's a little less messy. It's not quite as accurate as the alcohol wash, but I know that and adjust accordingly to it. I've actually done a comparison. I've done a sugar shake and then washed them in alcohol after, and I only got 1 or 2 extra mites off of them doing the alcohol wash. So usually the threshold is 3 mites per 100 bees, and you have 300 bees in the wash here. So if you have over 9 mites, that's when you want to treat. I usually start treating at 5 or 6 because I know my counts aren't quite as accurate. So what we've got is I've already went through and found the queen. She's over here in the nuke box off to the side. You need to make sure you know where your queen is. You don't want to include her in the wash. And we've got our Mite Check container here. I've already got powdered sugar in the bottom there. A little over a tablespoon is what I use. And I've got another container over here to dump the bees in, and then we'll show you how we do it here. So what you want to do is you want to find a frame with nurse bees on it, because most of your mites are going to be on your nurse bees. If you have a frame of foragers and stuff, you're not going to have as quite as an accurate count. So you want to get a frame that has open brood on it, which this frame does. I've got a little container over here that I just shake the bees into. So just take it, shake the bees down into the container. The nurse bees won't fly off. The foragers will fly off, so let it sit there for a few seconds while you put your frame back. Get your container ready. This is the little cup. There is a line down here on the cup that shows you where about 300 bees are. So what I do is I shake the bees down into here, estimate some bees to that line, dump them here into the powdered sugar, try not to squish anything in between there. Put your lid back on. And just kind of roll them in that powdered sugar, get them all good and coated in that powdered sugar. I do the initial shake and I let it sit there, and I'll dump my bees back in. Set the container aside. And you want to just sit there and shake it for a good 30 seconds or so. You want to make sure that they're all coated with that powdered sugar. They're all mixed in there. And then we're going to let it sit for a few minutes. I found the longer it sits, the more accurate count you get, because the more mites fall off and the more they clean each other, the powdered sugar, and knock the mites off. So what I usually do is I'll go through the top box. If I find the queen, I'll pull her out, set her aside. I'll take my sample of bees from that box, shake them up like this, and then set them aside while I go through the bottom box. And then by the time I'm finished, it's about the right amount of time. Okay, so they're good and coated with powdered sugar. We're going to set them in the shade somewhere so they're not sitting out in this plastic container overheating. And we'll come back in about 5 minutes or so, and I'll show you the next steps. Okay, so we finished our inspection. We've got all of our boxes back together except for the honey super. Queen's back in the hive there. We've let our bees sit in the powdered sugar for about 5 minutes or so. So now we're going to unscrew the top. You can see that's a braided lid right there, so we can shake all that powdered sugar. Make sure that that's on tight. And we're going to shake all that powdered sugar into the top of this cup right here. I'm going to shake the bees around, shake that powdered sugar in. As you can see, they're not too happy today, and that's mainly from a couple of our other hives over here. We re-queened them yesterday because they were getting kind of mean. So they're not too happy back here with us. That's why I've got gloves on today too. So make sure we get all that powdered sugar down here into this cup. Shake them really good. You got all that powdered sugar in. That's what it looks like right there. Now we've got a bottle of water here, a little spray bottle. So we're going to wet down that powdered sugar to dissolve it. and what will be left will show us any mites that might be in here. Squish that around real good. And we're going to look down in there, and there's no mites in there. Probably can't see that really good on the camera. I apologize for that. I'll try to take a picture and we'll add it in here at the end maybe if we can. But that mite wash shows 0 mites, and this is probably about the 5th mite wash that we've done throughout the apiary since we treated, and we've had 0 mites on all of them so far. So if you look back at our other videos, you can see what we did for mite treatments. We did an oxalic acid vaporization back in January, and then we did a treatment of Formic Pro right as the weather started warming up there at the beginning of March. And both of those together have knocked down our mite population, so we're in good shape. So we're going to go ahead and finish putting this hive back together. We're going to take our bees that are in here, dump them back into the hive. They've got some powdered sugar on them, but that's okay. The other bees will clean them off. And that's also some hygienic behavior that will clean off any mites and stuff like that, so we don't mind dumping the powdered sugar in there. It won't hurt them. We'll clean it off. It'll all go through the bottom board. We'll set our stuff aside. And we'll finish putting our hive back together. We've got 1 super on this one, so we'll put our queen excluder on top there. Smoke all these bees back down. And put our super back on top. That's it. If you have any questions, leave some comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to the page and follow us for our next video. Thank you.